What a beautiful charge!
Whoa,
This is
what
fine. Oh my god, this is
Oh,
what a save, my guy!
Okay, welcome back, everyone. We have another fun Ori match for you. We've had a bunch today, and we have a bunch remaining. The match we have coming up is Evooki versus Axetox, otherwise known as Noxatu. On commentary, my name is Grimelios, and I'm joined again by Sparrow. What's up, Sparrow?
What's up, Grimelios? Again, I'm fairly hyped for this race. Yeah, we can expect probably not for it to be too close, but again, these people kind of have to battle out who is going to finish third in this group and who is going to finish last in this group. So both of them really want to take away the victory here. And yeah, we'll see how they can do.
That's right. It is actually pretty interesting. You said it's not going to be a close race. I'm honestly not sure. And I don't say that in the sense of, well, I don't know. I think you're wrong. I mean, I actually do not know whether it's going to be close or not. As you can see from the PB time, Noxatu is sitting at a 37.35, which he actually got during a race, and he's playing on keyboard mouse, as opposed to Evooki, whose PB is actually a 39.39. It's just unrecorded because of sort of Xbox things. So close to it's just barely sub 40. So those PBs are pretty close to each other. The difference is that I'm pretty sure that Evooki is rusty, and I don't know offhand how much he's been practicing. I know that Evooki's 39.39. He got like half a year ago or something, so he's been out of it for a little while, whereas Noxatu's PB was only 11 days ago. So he's quite active in the land of Ori, as it were. It'll be kind of cool to see what happens here.
That's right. And another important thing to point out is that Noxatu is going to play on PC, while Evooki is actually opting to play on Xbox this time, and this is going to make some of his movement a little more interesting, because Xbox does have kind of another movement. I think it's limited to 30 frames, right? While on PC we have 60 frames.
I'm actually not sure about that. There are some differences, though, some important differences between Xbox One and PC, which we can sort of jump into as we go. I really should have sort of refreshed my memory a little bit more on the differences between the platforms. Evooki, if it wasn't clear, is, I don't know if he's the literal only person, but he's one of the only people running the game on a console rather than PC. The reason is that Ori, despite being a 2D game, is actually pretty graphically intensive and whatnot. And so Evooki's PB, I think, just struggles to run it at a performance level suitable for speedrunning.
That's right, and it looks like we're starting off here.
That's right. So one difference I want to point out right away, we mentioned the last time, probably last multiple times that Evooki raced. One difference between Xbox One and PC is that on PC, you can press Alt-U or a bound to Alt-U in order to hide your user interface, which not only gives you a nice cinematic experience for your viewing pleasure, but it makes all dialogue and little notifications get instantaneously skipped, which is faster, and it's sort of just nicer because you don't have to mash through dialogue boxes. Evooki does not have that luxury, but it's even worse than that, because not only does Evooki still have to mash through all his dialogue boxes and everything, he actually cannot see his energy and health. And that might sound strange because you can see it on stream, but Evooki told me before the race that he's using, the Twitch application or Microsoft application or whatever to stream to Twitch. And that application has a little UI box that just sort of exactly covers up your health and energy and experience at the bottom center of the screen. Isn't that ridiculous?
That's pretty rough. He's the only one who can't see his UI. That's a little ironic.
Right, doesn't even have an option to. Both players getting through the Funky Fight. Actually, Evooki getting through it a hair faster, but not too much to speak of. Yet, as you saw, Evooki had to mash through some dialogue. You can see what the objectives are. If anyone's been wondering this whole tournament what the objectives are, now you can sort of see them from Evooki.
All right.
And, go ahead, Spark.
Yeah. Next thing coming up here is we are trying to go for a ghost door, as always here in Glades. So our runners are taking some intentional damage here. Evooki actually already took 1 damage, so he's going to have to be a little more careful about how he takes some damage here. And we're trying to get down to 1 health to get the optimal ghost door.
That is right. I just want to sort of reiterate that Evooki can't see his UI, even though it's visible to us on stream. Evooki missed a jump, so that's going to put him behind by like a second. Most runners play most of the game with their UI off anyway, but it's really nice to be able to toggle it on briefly just to verify it. But again, assuming that Evooki's information is accurate that he told me before the race, he really doesn't have that option. So a nice single health ghost door from Evooki, he's just going to have to sort of make sure that he is on point with his mental game, keeping up with everything. Evooki also missed another small jump. Thankfully, didn't take damage from the Frankie, but that's going to just give Noxatu another second lead or so.
Yeah, that lead is not too big, of course, at this moment. Glades is just one area where we kind of have to get through. The lead doesn't change too often there. It doesn't cost too much time, but it's mostly Glades is mostly there to ruin your PB times, because this movement is pretty hard to optimize, but
yeah,
not in terms of lead change. If you don't take a really painful death, that is.
Well, on the left, we're going to see Noxatu probably get a level up on the way down. You can level up either on the way down or the way up in this area. Okay, so Noxatu is going to get it on the way up. That's fine. It doesn't really lose or gain you time either way. And Evooki also is going to get his on the way up, although Evooki's experience is still really low.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
even with
low.
that flower, that's not going to level him up. He might be in trouble. It won't cause too much trouble, but Evooki's not going to level up on the flower like he expected. At least I don't think so. He's going to have to grab the flower and then take out 1 or 2 brambles manually before he levels up. So that's just going to cost him a little bit of time. It won't like drastically affect him going forward, but it's just little slippages of seconds here and there. So this is maybe some of the rust showing from Evooki.
Just some micro optimizations that you, of course, would like to go for in a speed run.
That's
so, yeah.
right.
Noxatu taking his level up on the way out. He managed his experience route correctly, is going to attempt Trojan Log, also gets up there. And yeah, as we can see, Evooki actually had to get rid of some of those brambles, but now he can use this explosion to get rid of even more brambles, take a little bit of XP. That's going to be important for the Froggy Walk that we are attempting later.
That is right. Evooki even had to take an extra second or two because he doesn't have Magnet yet, which means that he had to sort of run around and try to pick up the XP, which we talk about RNG from time to time in the Ori speedrun. RNG plays a very, very tiny role in this speedrun. There's almost none of it, but there is a little bit. Whenever like experience or energy spawns, it can sort of fly off in a semi-random direction. So Evooki was having to sort of scramble to pick it up, but that's in the past. I think I'm lingering on that a little bit too long. Noxatu on the left is still in first place as he heads into Blackroot Burrows. He's going to be temporarily turning on his UI to activate the save menu, whereas Evooki, as always, doesn't even have the option to turn it off. So he's going to have to activate this and then sort of press A over and over again. Did a smart thing by getting his cursor out of the way, though, to avoid the pop-up from the experience box over and over again. Good awareness by Evooki.
Yeah, Noxatu was on 28 experience, I think, so he is only allowed to kill 2 slimes. And Black Rose has to be a little careful to not take the level up early.
That's right. We saw... Sorry to interrupt you, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Evooki actually has a lot more room in his XP. He should be fine with 3 slimes, and that's kind of more comfortable because there's a slime a little bit later that we have to dodge if we... Oh no!
That's a rough time.
Spikes there.
That's right. Those spikes down there deal 3 damage, so in themselves they won't kill you in 1 hit usually, but the problem is that once you're down there, Ori doesn't have a very... for as much as we joke about verticality, Ori actually can't jump very high, and so you tend to get stuck down there and die. So that's going to be pretty rough for Evooki because Evooki died before the spot where many runners will take a safety save, which is when you make it back over the spikes for a second time. Looks like Noxatu took a quick death as well, though. But so did Evooki. Blackroot Burrows is just showing its true colors.
And Noxatu again!
It's just dark. Yeah. This is, Blackroot Burrows is so mean, dude.
Yeah, this is a prime time example of Blackroot Burrows right here.
We saw issues from it last race as well. It's just an area that can just be so cruel, and it's so early in the speedrun, which on the one hand is good because if you're going for PB attempts, you can, reset if you want to, but you can't reset here because this is a tournament race, and so you kind of just have to grit your teeth and continue despite these issues.
Yeah, you're pretty nervous starting out the race. or most people are, and then taking these early deaths, it can really mess with your head. And on top of that, it messes up all of those cycles in Blackwood Burrows.
Evooki is down to 1 health, as you can actually see from his UI. Good for us, bad for him, because he doesn't know that, but he probably can sense that he's at low health anyway. So Evooki is going to have to be careful in a weird, sort of good way. All these lasers are insta-kill anyway, so it doesn't really matter that he's at 1 health, but he's going to have to be careful with some of the slimes that he doesn't get sniped a little bit. Did make the platform cycle, though, so good job there by Evooki.
That's right. Does he have to dodge this next slime here? Because this would probably be very dangerous.
It's close. We'll find out in a... That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The slimes tend to be snipers in this game, which ordinarily is just annoying, but if you're at 1 health, it can turn from annoying to deadly, and that's exactly what happened to Evooki. So Evooki is not having the best Blackroot Bros vacation of his Ori career, which is a very lengthy Ori career. Evooki actually started with Ori 3 days after its release, which was on March 11th of 2015. So Evooki's been with this game longer than almost anyone else, just about 3 years now.
Yeah, that's a pretty long time.
It absolutely is. So Noxatu on the left is going out of
very important maps, though.
No, he's not.
No, he isn't.
Looks like he may have messed up his darkness cutscene a little bit. If you mess up that darkness cutscene, you kind of just have to wait a long time and everything stays dark, even though you can run around. And that's what happened in Axetox, so he was just sort of having a little bit of fun. Although now he can run off to the left with dash. He's doing blind movement. Wait, these are new strats?
Through. Yeah, that's a new strat. It's a pretty scary cutscene stack that GTA found.
Since when? Was that discovered like an hour ago?
No, like I think almost a week ago. It's been for a long time, but the problem is you could, if you mess up the dash glide over the spit, you drop down into the spikes, and as the skill tree saves, you will stay in the spikes, and so it can basically ruin your whole race. That's the reason why no one really goes for this in a race. So it's all the more impressive to see Noxatu actually going for this.
Well, speaking of going for things, Noxatu is well on his way through his Frankie Walk journey. He's going to have to take out this Frankie in a, not a super precise, but a sort of precise location, just in the air, close enough to absorb its XP. And he did not, Noxatu does not have Spirit Magnet, which means that he had to kill that Frankie really close, and the experience just did not fall quite close enough. Thankfully, Noxatu spawned not back at the dash tree, but a little bit more to the left due to that new tech, so it's going to mitigate the time loss, but that is going to give Evooki a better chance to regain some of his loss.
Yeah, it's pretty close actually now, because Evooki has dash, so he's going to catch up here pretty quick. And right as I say that, he's dropping down that pit because he got knocked back by that slime. That's little unfortunate.
This race is suddenly a lot closer. Noxatu on the left is still in the lead, but Evooki has made his way out. His XP looks just fine. Evooki is going to be taking a time to level up soon. Which means that he wants to be close to leveling up. And Noxatu is just having a bunch of issues. This little Frankie is getting himself stuck in little crevices. And that's going to make Evooki just get real close. If Noxatu has any other issues in this or the Death Gauntlet, Evooki could immediately take the lead.
Yeah, isn't Noxatu also going for Magnetless? So this is Frankie Walk is going to take a little bit more time for him. Because he can only kill it now. And he gets the level up.
Yeah, that's tricky. The thing about Magnetless is that it's more difficult to, it might even be impossible to absorb all of the experience, all of the 19 that the frog drops. So Evooki is going to have an easier time. He will, assuming that he doesn't die or anything along the way, he'll get his level up just fine and open the door. He still has to get through the Death Gauntlet, though. Looks like Noxatu, nice safety save, also made it through the Death Gauntlet, so he's out of his first leg of the journey. And there's Evooki with his level up open the door as well. Let's see if Evooki can match pace and also get through the Death Gauntlet without dying.
He makes it through. So if he doesn't mess up at these spikes, he should be pretty safe.
Yeah. Noxatu didn't get his early Grotto cycle. It was sort of unclear to me from his movement whether he went for it. I think he did, but I might just be incorrect on my information there. Regardless, if Evooki does go for it and gets it, that might be an opportunity for him to catch up. And right there, we saw a little bit of the load times from Xbox. Evooki just sort of got stalled in the air for like a second. Not a major time loss, but just the thing about playing on Xbox is you can still get a really good time. You just bleed time all over the place, which can be really frustrating.
That was a really close grotto cycle attempt by Evooki there. Though he didn't make the dash because he jumped a little bit too high. That's the reason he didn't make it there.
Close one, though. It is a pretty precise trick. Noxatu has made it to double jump and is doing his blind movement. Let's see how high up on the wall Noxatu can get. Nicely done. He not only got up the right wall, but got a bit of a jump off of it. That can be scary because all the spikes here deal 2 damage, and you only have 4 health at this point in the run. So 2 spike hits will immediately kill you. Evooki has been keeping pretty good pace, though. He's going to be getting down to double jump as well. So Noxatu definitely has a lead, and we'll see what happens on the way to the Ginso tree. We'll also see what happens from Noxatu as he takes his attempts, hopefully singular attempt. Well, not singular, but he'll take his grotto skip.
Ah, that was close.
Skip. It was. There's 2 parts to this trick. There it is. You have to get the wall jump, and then you have to get the second wall jump. Usually they go very nicely together, but not all the time. Decent blind movement by Evooki as well. Didn't get as high up on the wall as Noxatu, but still made it all the way over, and more importantly, didn't take a dip in the poison pool. So nice job by him.
Yeah, that poison pool can be pretty scary. You can stay in a death loop there if you're unlucky. So that's pretty scary about this blind movement.
That's right. On the left side, you're going to see Noxatu do a series of cutscene skips. For anyone who maybe hasn't watched this speedrun before, you're going to see a lot of these cutscenes playing out of order. And if you were sort of seeing a cutscene that looks really strange, like Ori sort of running over entities that are supposed to be stuck in cutscenes or whatever, if it looks weird, it's because it is weird, because we did a sequence break earlier and this is a speedrun and we're doing things out of order. Like you just saw Ori run past Gumo holding the water vein that we've already picked up. Noxatu did take a little bit of damage. Thankfully didn't die to the falling slime though, so he'll be okay. And Evooki is making his way. We'll see him do another quick cutscene skip of his own to skip boulders.
He got a fifth try grotto skip, so not doing too bad there himself, and not giving Noxatu too much time of a lead. And let's see how he does on this double jump movement here.
Yeah, these walls are slippery, as we have mentioned in other races. Evooki, despite being rusty, is very, very experienced. As I said, he's been with the game longer than almost anyone, certainly longer than me. And so he knows how this game works. He's been keeping up with runs, even if he hasn't been putting in a ton of actual practice, or at least maybe not as much as he would have liked. But Evooki made it out of there just fine, so he'll be grabbing his water vein, the key to the first dungeon as well.
That's right. Noxatu now is opting to push this boulder. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. You could pull this boulder, but this is pretty scary because of those swinging, spiky thingies there. And so pushing the boulder is just a little safer, doesn't cost too much time, and he's in the lead. I don't know if he's actually watching the restream. Should have asked beforehand. But oh well, I never do. I mean,
it's one of those things. Like, there's lots of little pre-commentary questions you like to ask. It's easy to forget them. Even if we knew for sure whether they were watching each other, it's not always impactful. You know, to some extent, it depends on the runner, but sometimes you just kind of do your race, and whether you're ahead or behind doesn't necessarily change anything. Anyway, Noxatu has made it into the first dungeon. Spirit, can you sort of refresh everyone on this area?
The Ginso tree, of course. The Ginso tree is, as we like to call it, a very, very vertically oriented dungeon. Nice dash of the flower there, by the way. And the Ginso tree, yeah, as you can see, we are having some precise double jumping here. Before that, oh no, had a safety save there, so that messed up his movement a little.
Dude, look at that value, though. Look at that value. Yep, he's just going to take another death. That's a smart call there. So that's 3 quick deaths back-to-back for Noxatu. It's going to give Evooki a little bit of a chance to catch up. Look at what's happening with Evooki with the weird little load times on Xbox. Did you see that? It just, like, everything stalled for, like, a few seconds.
Yeah, just Xbox things. Right.
Yep. I mean, thankfully Evooki's aware of it, so you saw him sort of like press start or something to sort of refresh everything. So he's fine now. Noxatu is just continuing to have some issues with some of the spikes in the Ginso tree, though. All of these spikes, they won't insta-kill you like many of our spiky companions in this world of Nibel, but they still hurt. They do like 2 damage apiece, and as you can see from Noxatu's and Evooki's UI, they both only have 4 health maximum. So the spikes can cause quite a bit of grief if you're not careful.
There are so many teleporters, and so many spikes in Ginso tree, and on top of that, You have to do very precise jumping, so it's a really hard dungeon. I think everyone who played this game casually definitely remembers. And most of our speedrunners are making this area look way too easy.
Yeah, definitely. Noxatu on the left is coming into his mini-boss fight. This mini-boss fight is, as we always say, one of the major sources of RNG in the run, although it's still relatively minor. This mini-boss can spawn in 1 of 5 locations, and you just have to either get lucky or try to catch a 1 for intel to know where it's going to spawn. And more importantly, you have to get enough shots off on it. Looks like Noxatu, I believe that was a 6 cycle? Yeah, it was a 6 cycle. It's possible to do like a 5 cycle with those kinds of strats, but a 6 cycle, especially a fast 6 cycle, is totally fine. Evooki is going to take his shot at it as well. See if he can sort of match.
He can, because he's playing on Xbox, he is definitely using a controller, so he has to go for some mashing here. And that generally means the 5 cycle is a lot harder to get than for most KBM runners.
That's right. Using scroll wheel shooting, it's pretty easy to get 8 hits per volley. You can get 10, but it's pretty easy to get 8. On controller, as a controller runner myself, I found it's not that hard to get 7. It's hard to get 8. So yeah, Evooki got a 7 cycle compared to Noxatu's 6. So not too much of a time loss. It's just little bits here and there. Honestly, all things considered, I think Evooki is doing quite well. He is behind, but not by a huge amount. And we have a lot of run left. And I mean, obviously, credit to Noxatu as well for his clean play. Let's see if Noxatu can keep it up. Coming up next is his key duplication glitch, known as key dupe, because we are creative with our names of tricks in the Ori community. Ow,
We
ow,
are
that hurts.
And he had a not too common safety save there, so that's not going to put him too far back. Getting, again, a good value out of his saves. So he probably knows where he struggles, so prepares for that with some nice saves. And that damage boost into the spikes is actually a pretty hard trick to make the save on the second platform there, which speeds up your key duping process by probably 2 seconds.
That's right. So then the intentional death here is the next part. Noxatu's taking it a bit slowly. He got it though. The reason you see a lot of runners jump there is that if you press left to try to run off the platform into the spikes, you'd be surprised how easy it is to go just a few pixels too far to the side and dies. Whereas if you jump up and down, you can sort of just use the physics to slide yourself off. So Noxatu got it, but it was slow. If Evooki can get it faster, that'll be another precious few seconds that he can gain back. We will find out momentarily. All right, also playing it safe. That's okay. It's better to just get it than to do it super fast, and Evooki did get it. Well done.
Nice job. Noxatu just quickly finished the second Ginzo mini-boss, and now instead of going for the intended route or the Ginzo escape, which features some nice music that we sadly are not going to hear, because he's just teleporting out back to Grotto, and skipping the clean waters in the process. That's a route change that we've have been showing pretty often in these races.
It's certainly a minority of runners at this point that still do the Ginso escape for one reason or another, maybe just not learning the new routes, or just, I don't know, they just really enjoy the music or something. Or as a speedrun is, built from individual difficult tricks and just a lot of movement with a huge amount of room for tiny micro optimizations. Right now, Noxatu is firmly in the trick part of that equation. The next trick is known as Swamp Entry, and it's kind of hard. Let's see if Noxatu has any issues. Evooki is going to be doing the same thing, of course, just sort of delayed a little bit compared to his opponent. Frog looks good at least, so that's step 1 done. Step 2 is breaking the barricades.
Though breaking...
Oh no!
That's just Ori things there.
Yep. What you, for anyone who may have blinked, that projectile just phased straight through the barricade. That doesn't happen often, but it happens more often than you think. Not only can the projectiles go through platforms, but the frog itself can, and if the frog goes through, you have no choice but to reload. Noxatu is having a hard time making the second shot, so Evooki is really right on Noxatu's tail. There's sort of a cadence to this trick, and it's having problems with his double bashes. There's a cadence to this trick, and because the frog shot phased through, I think that threw off Noxatu's rhythm. All right, well, there's the double bash from Noxatu, so it went through again!
It phased again!
Moon Studios! Why are you personally doing this to Noxatu? Oh, this is insane.
Oh no. That definitely thrown off his rhythm. And Oh, Evooki seemed to have gotten the soft lock in the spikes there after the blind movement.
He can just reload again. He should not have to go back. Yeah, okay. He knows what he's doing. This
good.
is boy, this trick is just showing its true colors. Noxatu got not one, but a double phase shot, and he's just having a really hard time with this. Noxatu is trying to get a double bash, which he already saw him do once successfully. It's just you see him sort of wiggling his mouse. He's definitely frustrated with this. Evooki on the right is doing, is doing this trick on controller, so he does not have the luxury of double bashes. Evooki's going to have to do a different strat where he bashes the frog off to the right, and then bashes the frog one more time and gets up super high. So Noxatu, let's see if the... Okay, got it that time without a phase, but Evooki is right there, only seconds behind. Shot looks good, and he's through the barricade. He still has to make it past the Rhino, though. With the safety safe, he'll be in the clear. This is insane, dude.
Yeah, this race just got a lot more close with this swamp entry, and it also showed why skipping the clean waters isn't always a good idea, because that swamp entry is pretty hard, and as we see, pretty glitched as well.
Noxatu missed a little jump onto this platform, which only loses you a few seconds, but Evooki got it. Look how close this is. Noxatu on the left is in the lead, but only by a few seconds. He's about to pick up Stomp. Evooki baited a lizard shot, or worms, lizards, whatever they are, and he's going to be making it to Stomp as well. We're going to see almost synchronized tree cutscenes. Unbelievable.
Every second counts at this point, so it's going to be interesting to see which swamp entry swamp exit, actually. We are leaving swamp already, and oh no. Oh, will he get it? Will he? He's through. Nice save. He was on 1 HP there because he had to take the damage boost through the spikes, and Evooki also taking a dip in the water, and he sadly died to it. So this is going to put Noxatu into a lead again.
Don't drink the water, you'll get GD flu, as Covert Muffin would say. GD flu is still alive and well, despite GDQ being a month and a half ago. So Noxatu made it out of Swamp, also made it up to the ability cell correctly. Evooki made it out of Swamp just fine the second time, and he's going to rekindle his save. I like that call. It only costs you like a second before for extra safety. Evooki is deciding to not make another safety save before this frog, so hopefully the frog cooperates with him, this frog that we like to call Ringo, because he makes a lot of racket. Good catch there. That frog almost ran off the edge. And Noxatu on the left misses Kuro cussing skip.
Yeah, we see a big bird there. That's 17 seconds of time that Noxatu really didn't want to lose there, because if Evooki actually manages to get this cutscene skip, it's pretty much tied again.
Come on, dude, take my energy. Precise location.
That looks good. Nice, he gets it.
That is huge. And we see Noxatu going for a health cell in this area that we call the Spider Coast. As we mentioned at the start of the race, both runners are going to be going for 6 health overall, but Evooki goes for 2 additional health cells later on, whereas Noxatu, having 5 right now, is only going to be getting 1 additional one before the run is over. But Evooki is temporarily in the lead, although Evooki is going to have to take slightly more time later to get both additional health cells. This is all but tied at this point.
They are basically in sync now. This race, due to swamp entry, has just gotten really, really close. And so it's going to come down to every single movement there. As you can see, they are kind of changing the lead every second here now.
Did you see what happened to Evooki right there, though?
I actually didn't.
The frog, or the Frankie that we... Like, from Noxatu, look on the left. He just got out of his charge flame animation. Well, actually, Evooki did first. Noxatu, in a moment, is going to bash off of a Frankie that he baited down into this area to get out. Or not. He did blind movement and went around. So never mind. Both of them didn't get the Frankies, so no help from the Frankies today. Noxatu, that was a... Is that some more tech that I don't know about, or did he just on the fly decide to do blind movement?
The blind movement at the swamp tree, at the charge flame tree.
Right, I mean, it has to be slower, right? I mean, I know that you can do the blind movement. You can do blind movement in a lot of areas in Ori. The question, as like any speedrun, is that faster?
And of course, so, it's always
faster.
That blind movement is fast because you don't have to take the save at the teleporter there, before the teleporter, to skip the cutscene.
You still do have to skip. We can get into a philosophical discussion about it later to get back into the act. I'm just so curious. Spare quits. Let's continue this after the race. But for now, Noxatu on the left is in the lead a little bit. Evooki had it very, very briefly, but Noxatu is sort of scraped back into first place. He's going to be taking his his fast stompless trick quite shortly, making a save here, and also got an early C dash, which will help him make this trick very slightly faster. You're going to see Noxatu grab a spider shot and bash it in a precise location. He can use his mouse as a visual indicator for that trick, but he's not done yet. He has to get out of the way and hopefully get an ability cell, which is going to be important for the run. Having a little bit of trouble with his bashes. He still got there in time, though. No sad cells today, and Evooki is going to be doing the same thing shortly. So Evooki... Actually, no, he's not. Evooki is not doing fast stompless. I was incorrect.
No, he isn't. This is going to put him a little behind. And Noxatu also opted for 5 health, so his Sorrow Pass and Sorrow Bash is a little bit more safe for him than Evooki's is going to be.
I like that you point that out. Evooki isn't behind by very much, but he has an uphill battle ahead of him, not only to regain the lead, but because 1, Evooki has less health, and 2, Evooki is playing on Xbox rather than PC, which means that he can't turn off his UI. He has no option and no ability to rebind. We being the Ori community, we can rebind things in Ori, but not through an in-game menu. You can only do rebinding through a text file in the file system. And since Evooki doesn't have access to the file system on a console, he's sort of out of luck and has to use all the default controls, which are sort of harder anyway. Noxatu, very nice job with his Sorrow Bash. Used the 5 health to his advantage to take a damage boost. Well done getting into Sorrow.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. First try Sorrow Bash. It's a pretty hard trick. And that damage boost is a smart choice to make it a little easier.
Nice little ninja bash on the frog's projectile there too by Noxatu. That frog can be a bit of a sniper. So Evooki is having some issues. Evooki still has to get through Sorrow Bash, which is considered one of the hardest tricks in the speedrun. Whereas Noxatu is just making his way downtown through the Enriched Flower Foundry.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. I had to look at the ingredients that time. Noxatu is getting to charge jump. His lead is certainly increasing over Evooki, although to be quite honest, Sparrow, this race is closer than I expected it to be from the beginning. No disrespect to Evooki, just I didn't expect it to be quite this close. It's exciting.
Yeah, Evooki showing that he still knows how to play this game. It's pretty cool. Yeah, as I said, he has been around for 3 years, so he came back to this game pretty often, I would think.
Yeah, Evooki probably has secret game knowledge about Ori's history that almost nobody else has. It's a conspiracy. Sparrow, why is Sorrow Bash so hard?
Sorrow Bash is really hard because you have to, as you can see Evooki trying to do here, manipulate birds. You can choose 2 birds or 1 bird, depending on what method you take. But you have to lure these birds into this small spiky area there. And it's pretty hard because the bird will get instantly killed by all those spikes, so you have to be careful not to kill the bird with your bash, while also being careful that you don't kill yourself, especially when you're on 4 health, because all those spikes actually instantly kill you as well.
Yeah, that's right. The way that we saw Noxatu successfully get his Sorrow Bash is unavailable to Evooki because of the health thing that you mentioned. That was a phenomenal save. Evooki used a strat where you bash the bird up and then charge dash back into it, but the second bird was close enough that Evooki accidentally charge dashed to the wrong one, but then had the awareness to really quickly go off to the right and charge dash again. So really good job by Evooki. That was not the usual way that you would perform that trick. Man, Evooki certainly has some ways to catch up, though. Evooki's making his way into Sorrow Pass. They had a little bit of a high five as Noxatu left, so if you pay attention to the left side, you're going to get to see Noxatu show off the gauntlet of platforming challenges that is Misty Woods, although we have some advantages that we're not supposed to have. 1, we have charge jump in this area, and 2, we have speedrunning tricks like rocket jumps. So it's a very enjoyable area to watch, in my opinion.
It is pretty enjoyable, especially if Noxatu has shown here that he knows how to stomp cancel his charge dashes, so we are probably going to see some pretty nice movement out of him throughout Misty. Charge dash, that's an ability that gets you around pretty fast, and it normally costs energy, but you can cancel it with a bash or with a stomp. That stomp you can cancel yet again with a double jump, and yeah, then your energy gets refunded. So we can use a lot more storm cancels than you might think in this area.
That's right. Noxatu is just sitting very comfortable though. I mean, you saw Noxatu with his UI on, had 5 health for that entire time, so didn't even take any damage. And even if Noxatu did take damage, these spikes in this area deal 3 damage. A lot of other projectiles and whatnot tend to deal 2 damage. So Noxatu can even take some damage and remain safe. But given how he's been playing, I doubt we'll even see too much damage from him. You're going to see a number of rocket jumps, just sort of narrowly cutting corners and trying to avoid the spikes, like right there, for example. Also, nice judicious use of safety saves. That was not an intentional death, but it lost him like 2 seconds because of the very nice safety save. So well done by him.
Another value safety save. And another Storm Cancel. The death up there was, I'm pretty sure, because of another Storm Cancel attempt. He's just going for every Storm Cancel here in Misty.
That's right. To quickly check in with our right side runner, Evooki made it through his Terror Break, I think without too many issues. I believe his Terror Break was a hair slow, but it still worked. The reason we know it worked is that Evooki still has his precious 1 ability point that he needs to skip the Sunstone cutscene. I don't know if anyone in this tournament who's had to actually watch that cutscene, but surely such a runner would be ridiculed. Nice rocket jump on the left by Noxatu as well. He'll be making his way to the dual mini bosses quite soon, and Noxatu is just putting on a showcase.
Yeah, this Misty has been really sick. It really has.
Mm-hmm. There's 1 down and 2 down. See a mini bosses. Never even seen a mini boss, as Sigma would probably say, but in a more soothing voice.
It was a pretty fast kill. It was not the fastest kill we could do, but it was a pretty fast kill.
Mm-hmm. So Evooki has made it past Sunstone, did not watch the cutscene, which is a relief. Also decided to quickly rekindle his save on the way down. So Evooki is going to stomp on the way out. You may see tiny little hiccups here and there as the Xbox loads the area, but hopefully not too bad, opting for a little bit of safety. So all the cool movement and everything that you just got to see out of Noxatu on the left side, you're going to get to see Evooki try to mirror as much as possible on the right side. I do want to sort of give just an extra shout out again for Evooki doing all of this without the ability to toggle UI, without the ability to see his health, energy, or experience, without the ability to not have long load times.
And the ability to rebind, of course.
That too. Rebinds are very, very important in Ori at the top level, especially for things like charge dashes. Evooki is doing all of these tricks manually, including things like rocket jumps, which is actually effectively 2 buttons on the same frame. So there's lots of those little 1-frame tricks. They're not super hard, but like there is the possibility that you'll mess up a rocket jump or a charge dash, and that just doesn't exist when you have a single button that does the trick for you.
That's right. Noxatu got his Yoka cycle. That's the fastest laser cycle you can make to get through this area. And it sets up the cycle nicely when you leave this area again. So he's going to probably have a pretty good time.
That's right. I'm just sort of laughing every time I see Evooki have an issue with load times. I'm not laughing at you, Evooki. I'm just laughing at the silliness of what you have to deal with, I suppose.
Laughing with him.
Trees. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said we're laughing with him, not at him.
Exactly. We saw 2 skill trees at the same time there. Noxatu now has every skill in the game, so he's going to be quickly heading towards Mount Horu. Evooki has picked up Climb, so he still has to get out of Misty Woods and then go to Light Grenade and then finish the game. Looks like Noxatu, maybe knowing that he's in the lead, is deciding for just a tiny bit of safety, except for that laser. That's okay. Noxatu made the smart decision to rekindle the save that he had previously created to skip the old-fashioned father cutscene. So similar to earlier in the run, like way back at Dash, Noxatu is, despite taking deaths, he is mitigating his time loss through intelligent saves rather than getting sent all the way back to the tree. I like that a lot.
This is a really good example of how you should be playing a race. Again, I don't know if he's watching the restream, but saving in all these areas where he probably knows that his movement could be a little messy, it just prevents major time loss, and that's a pretty good thing to do in a race.
That's right. Noxatu just picked up his 6th and final health cell. I think that he will be skipping the one in Horror Fields, although he might decide to take it for 7 health. I don't think so, though. I mean, he's been playing super cleanly. He doesn't need the 7th health. Evooki is still at full health, which is nice. Notice that Evooki currently only has 4 health, so Evooki still has to get health cell number 5 and 6. The 5 and 6 health cell is going to be the one next to the BRB teleporter that we just saw Noxatu pick up, and the one in Horror Fields that Noxatu is about to pass by and not get, as expected. So next up for Noxatu is going to be door attempts. He just has to sort of make his way over the lava fields first. Shouldn't take him long though. Do you have any door predictions, Barrick?
Normal predictions. I'm of course hoping for first try, but let's say second try here.
Okay, that's fair. I predict that it will take... Oh my god! Okay, that was
That
scary.
was close.
I predict that it will take N attempts. And I will
N
define
attempts.
N retroactively to guarantee that I got it right.
That's cheating.
That's... Who would cheat in a speedrun, though? That's my question. Oh god. Well, we'll find out. Noxatu got the autosave, exited. Got it. Not first try, but hopefully we'll get it second
We'll
try.
get it second try, pretty sure. Oh no.
Okay, well, there's still a possibility that he'll get it in N tries. And tension is rising, getting closer and closer to that magical N value. Didn't get it fourth try either. Can he get it fifth try? This is a difficult trick. You have to press up on the frame that the game loads, and this is a 60 frames per second video game. I think that was a sixth try.
Yeah,
Hopefully I didn't count that incorrectly.
He's through door warp now, so he's going to make his way to the final escape. Yeah, the final escape. Normally, again, if you're playing casually, it can be pretty hard, but in a speedrun, your routing is on top. So, yeah,
You could call this this area the Carnival of Culmination. One
could.
would not call it that, but you totally could if you wanted to.
You could, and you also could go for this grenade jump here if you wanted to, which Noxatu attempted. Didn't get it, sadly. That would have been really cool to see. Totally not necessary, but it's just so cool. Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he mustn't take any damage in this final escape. That's really important. Otherwise, he won't make the final swim.
That's right, and Noxatu knew that, which is why after taking the damage, he could have saved himself, because you have some iframes after taking damage from the lava, but Noxatu said, nope, I'm just gonna go ahead and let myself get wrecked, and then restart the whole thing, because as you said, he has to. If he didn't die there, he would have died later in the water and lost even more time. Evooki did make it past his cutscene as well, so no unwanted cutscenes for Evooki today. I don't believe. And he'll be making his way down. Noxatu made it past the poison water. Let's see if he can get his G-jump, his final grenade jump quickly. This is not required, but it saves a lot of time. Just went way up into the air. Positioning on the wall is at a location that is hopefully correct. He's going to be trying to aim the jump up, has plenty of energy to try a bunch of attempts at this. This is a one-frame trick. You have to throw a grenade and then release your charge jump on the following frame.
Oh no, he soft locked.
That's rough. Yeah, you can get that trick successfully, and if you ever see that trick done successfully and then Ori turns to the left, you know that you have to immediately exit and reload or the game soft locks. And that's rough because Noxatu has to do the entire final escape again. Very unlikely that that will cost him a victory, because Evooki would have to have some miracle play to catch up at this point, but that just sort of is rough to see.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. You didn't actually do anything wrong there, and the game just decides to soft lock you. Has destroyed some PBs again. But yeah, Evooki making quick work of that Ginzo boss there. Ginzo? What am I talking about? Misty Woods boss.
It's a location. There's a boss in it. They're kind of the same. They actually sort of are, at least the first mini-boss. Anyway, I'd like to see Noxatu continuing to go for these grenade jumps. I kind of like the attitude of, you know what, even though I failed the final grenade jump once, I'm still going to go for the cool tricks. Still going for stomp cancels. Still at 6 health, so should, for a second time, have no issues getting through the poison water.
The first time through the poison water he only took 4 damage. This time he took 5, so the second health coming in handy here. And he'll be trying this grenade jump again.
Okay. Noxatu did not want to risk another soft lock. Maybe he was just tired of doing 100 grenade jumps in a row, and so said, you know what, I'm just going to finish out. Not getting the grenade jump does cost you something like 30-ish, 35 seconds or so compared to getting it successfully on the first try. But it will absolutely ensure that Noxatu takes the victory, since Evooki has quite a bit of time to get to the end. So GG to Noxatu. Will be getting confirmation on his final time once time is done and we verify that everything sort of looks okay. So for now we can sort of direct attention over to the right and have Evooki. I turns out that my commentary is bad, and I was basically just completely wrong before. Thanks to Poogle and Oshi on the stats side of things for keeping us on our toes. So that's going to be pretty costly for Evooki. Sorry, Evooki, that I missed that. But Evooki got through the second time, so he's heading to Light Grenade.
Yeah, that's rough. It's actually rough. It's going to be interesting to see if he goes for some grenade jumps here. He is not.
That's right. So Noxatu is done. He just sort of ran to the right with Naru. We'll be getting confirmation on his time shortly. So GG to him on the victory. We did expect Noxatu to take the victory, so the final result here is not surprising. So we'll see if Evooki can sort of close out strong. He's making his way up out of this lower Blackroot Burrows area. He still has to survive the Indiana Jones boulder, or an area that we sometimes call the Raziel No area due to a sort of meme from the last tournament. Indiana Jones is easier to sort of conceptualize, though. And so here's the 5th health cell from Evooki. For Noxatu, that was health cell number 6, but Evooki, I believe, is also going to be getting one in Horror Fields along the way to the 3rd dungeon, I think.
He was planning to do that. He might opt not to do it. Some people, when they're feeling great, probably won't do it. But on the other hand, it makes the final swim pretty free, as we said. So it's always a good idea to go for this in a race, even if you know that your opponent already has finished.
That's right. Noxatu's final time, by the way, just to verify for everyone, although you can probably see it on screen anyway, was a 42:29. So that's not going to be a time that he will probably be too pleased with, but, you know, he took the victory, and that is enough for now. As we mentioned, I believe we mentioned at the start of the race, this is, I think, the final match out of this group, which means that this match was for 3rd and 4th place. So no matter what happens, Evooki and Noxatu are going to be heading down into our lower bracket after we're done with the group stages. It still would have been, you know, nice. It's always nice to improve your best race time or anything like that. But Noxatu will be taking 3rd place in this group, and Evooki will be taking 4th. We'll just sort of continue paying attention as Evooki closes things out here. Between him and the end is Door Warp and the final escape and the final grenade jump in the poison water, and just lots of other obstacles. There's lots of things that can ruin your run at this point.
Let's go with first try Door Warp here.
Yeah, first try Door Warp. I agree.
Those load times.
I also want to emphasize, if Evooki gets this first try, this trick works, as we've mentioned ad nauseum, by pressing up on the frame that the game loads. On PC, the game loads quite consistently. It generally takes 3 seconds or so. On Xbox, that's not the case. So Evooki has to press up on the frame that the game loads, but this is Xbox loading. You can just see the lag every time he exits and comes back in. So Evooki will get this trick. You know, it saves so much time that you really have to go for it. But this trick it's hard anyway, and it is substantially more difficult for Evooki.
I've never seen this trick being performed in Xbox. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it really is.
I mean, there's multiple ways that you can perform the trick, right? Like, some people decide to just time it. You try to just press up exactly one time when the game loads. Nice job by Evooki.
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, I don't know offhand what method Evooki uses, whether he spams. I imagine that, and here's another load time. Even after getting that trick, you can't exit this final room until it loads, so Evooki was just sitting there spamming up, just waiting for a few seconds for Xbox to load the map for him. He is through to the final escape, though, so Evooki is almost done with his UI-ridden journey.
And he'll definitely improve his best race time. His best race time so far has been 55 something, I think. So as we mentioned before, improving your best race time, even though you're not winning the race, it's always pretty nice, especially when you're feeling too rusty.
I agree. Looks like Evooki's taking it just a hair safe. Not quite safe enough because lava is still hot, but attempted to play it a little bit safe. This is rough. Remember that if Evooki takes any damage, he has to just kill himself because he cannot survive the poison water. Like, Evooki took 1 damage here. I'm kind of surprised he's still continuing.
He doesn't see his UI again.
You're right.
So while we know that he's low on health, he doesn't. Oh man.
Yeah.
Probably
that is certainly a rough time. That is just something that you don't think about. As we said, most runners play the game with your UI off voluntarily because you just don't need to look at it, but you usually want to be able to check. And in areas like the final escape without any dialogue boxes or pop-up notifications or anything, you don't lose anything. It's not like having the UI on inherently makes you slower. It just makes you have to do with dialogue. Evooki just gets the worst of all worlds. He has to spam through dialogue and notifications, and also can't see his health even if he wants to. So Evooki's made it to the poison water at full health. He does have 6 health, so this will be a bit of an easier swim. Took 5 damage, barely made it out alive, actually.
Yeah, that was pretty close. But he's onto his grenade jump now. Let's hope he doesn't soft lock. Doesn't get it first try. Though that could have been some voodoo stuff we sometimes do not to soft lock.
The good news is that Evooki has a billion energy, so he can take a lot of attempts at this. And if he gets it even within the next few, it will still save him a little bit of time compared to the traditional approach of just finishing out.
Just casually throwing a grenade there.
This trick is also arguably harder on controller anyway, especially... Oh no.
Oh. You see, that's no soft lock, right?
No, I
don't
think it's a soft lock. We got some interesting camera work.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm just keeping my eyes peeled on the screen. I'm not exactly sure what that was.
Might be Xbox things again.
If this is a soft lock, that's a weird soft lock.
Yeah, I've never seen that method of soft locking before.
We are confirmed. Evooki is saying in race chat that he is soft locked.
Oh no.
That is rough. That is really, really rough because, as we said, you can do a grenade jump, and if Ori turns to the left, you know that you have to reload. That's not what happened here, though. It looked like Evooki got a successful grenade jump and sort of bonked on something, and then the game, I don't know, got confused as to whether he was or was not in the little ending sequence where you jump off the flaming tree branch. That is really, really unfortunate. I'm not sure if Evooki is... Okay, I just saw a little spam thing from Evooki. I'm not sure if it's possible for him to recover this through some kind of like Xbox menu or something. I'm not sure how the little Twitch streaming app will respond to that. There are lots of unknowns in this scenario. It might end up being the case that Evooki just has to sort of concede the soft lock. It's hard to say. I mean, this isn't good news exactly, but the sort of messed up silver lining is that we know that Evooki was taking 4th place out of this group. So even though this is very unfortunate and I wish that it hadn't happened, at least it isn't affecting Evooki's standings out of group. So in a way, that's the silver lining.
Yeah, that's true, but pretty rough. I've never seen that. Might just be Xbox things again.
Well, Evooki is going to get his stream back up. It's going to take him a minute, so just sort of bear with us. Sparrow, you and I can just sort of, I don't know, have a fun conversation about something. How are you? How's your day been?
My day has been pretty good. It's actually in the middle of the night for me now. Time zones are weird.
They are indeed.
I'm finishing off the day with some nice Ori runs. We already had some pretty good runs. We will have some pretty good runs after this run. So don't go anywhere. We have a lot of Ori.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
let's watch the cutscene. There's a cutscene going on the left side. It's part of this game's story, which you don't get to see in a speedrun.
What's the story anyway?
A story. There's a little worm that Kuro just wrecked because Kuro is a bird of prey. A little tiny worm is no match for the might of Grop. That's a pretty little vista. The spirit tree sending out its toxic nerve gas on the forest, which for some reason is a good thing.
Not for everyone.
Not for everyone. I see the title screen of Ori on Evooki's side. We may almost be alive again, unlike the birds on the left side of the screen. Raise T. Thump.
Raise
whatever
T.
it is.
I don't know.
Look how sad Kuro looks. Look at the poor little owls. Oh no.
This is rough. I don't know why people go for this cutscene all the time when they finished races. It's so sad.
I'm not crying. I just have toxic nerve gas in my eye. Nobody laughed. This is sad. This is a sad moment. Okay, Evooki's back.
Evooki's back.
Everybody spam your PogChamps and your Raise Ps and any other celebratory emote you want. Evooki is not going to let this final escape defeat him. He's going to come back with a vengeance. This time he's not going to soft lock. He's going to wreck the grenade jump first try. I'm calling it right now. This is going to be a flawless escape sequence.
Let's see. No, I'm pretty confident that this will be a flawless escape as well.
Honestly, props to Evooki once again for performing what is a very difficult speedrun on what is objectively an inferior platform, and you have to deal with some garbage that you just don't have to deal with on PC. And he's playing on controller, which is a little bit more difficult than KBM most of the time. And then he has to deal with Xbox Xbox issues, and he has to deal with that soft lock. So good job by him. I'm guessing Evooki won't come out of this experience probably very happy, but he will come out of it successfully finishing the run. He made it through the poison ward with only 4 damage, so didn't even need the extra health, and he's lining up for the grenade jump once again.
He has definitely shown some nerves of steel throughout this run. He said some garbage. No,
oh no!
No, not again. But
We
he's
got
able
the
to get out of
traditional
this.
soft lock. But that's okay, because Evooki, in his infinite wisdom, realized that he got the soft lock and exited in time. So we ended up with only time loss rather than catastrophe. I applaud you, Evooki, and your observational abilities. Well, Evooki's going to take another attempt at this. If anyone likes the skate music, if you like this grop noise that Kuro makes, if you like all the graphics and the fire and the flames and whatnot, you're in the right place because you get to see a lot of it. This is just Evooki's secret IL practice, trying to perfect his escape maneuvers.
Yeah, I don't actually know what to say to this. This is pretty rough, but he's still doing it.
We'll keep everyone posted. As we said, the sort of silver lining, if you want to look at it that way, is that this is not going to affect Evooki's standings because he was already going to take 4th out of the groups, although he won't be very pleased with it. As we said earlier, Evooki was also going to vastly improve his final race time. I'm not sure if that's going to happen anymore. It's kind of hard to say. It'll be kind of close if Evooki can get it this time. The hard part about this trick to it isn't just frame perfect, but you have to be positioned correctly on the wall in order to skip the chunk of the final cutscene correctly. If you don't, nasty things can happen, like the normal soft lock or like that weird soft lock we saw from Evooki before. There he is.
He's through.
GG to Evooki. No soft lock this time. He is successfully out of the way. That's going to skip like 2/3 of the final cutscene. So he just has to hold right, mash through some dialogue. 1 health is all he needs. So GG to Evooki. We'll be getting a final time on him very shortly. We are also going to do no interviews after this, in the interest of time, since we do have another race coming up right after this one, which is going to be Meldon versus Acrid Stingray with Sigma and Tass Snoop on commentary. So we'll just sort of wait for Evooki to finish up, and then we'll close up shop in short order.
And time. He made it through. This race definitely was a hassle for him. He got some garbage that he didn't hope for. But again, I'm pretty impressed by the way he kept up the spirit. His final time is a 55:26.
That's right. This race may look like it was Noxatu versus Evooki. In my view, it was really Evooki versus Xbox, and Evooki came out the clear victor there, in my view.
Yeah, definitely.
So GG, we'll give a really quick update on stats. With that victory, Noxatu is going to be at 1 and 2. He was 0 and 2 before. With that win, he's now 1 and 2, whereas Evooki is 0 and 3. So Evooki is going to come out 4th out of this group, with Noxatu coming out in 3rd place. GG to both of them to finish it out, despite some issues on Evooki's end. And we will be closing up shop here. We have another race coming up very shortly, so make sure to stick around on Speed Gaming if you want to see another Ori match. Sparrow, it's been fun talking with you.
Yeah, pleasure commentating with you, Grimadios, as always.
We'll catch you soon. Bye.
Goodbye.